we observe December 2nd and 3rd as the National Pollution Control Day. I want to know from children, why do we do this? Why December 2nd is observed as a pollution control day? If you are aware, anyway, all of you are not, tell me, man.
There was a leakage from the plant, chemical plant in Bhopal, in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh.
MIC, methyl isocyanide leakage and led to the large scale mortality and loss of life. Lot of things happened. People are still suffering. That to bring awareness in the people. This every December 2nd and 3rd is observed as the National Pollution Control Day to prevent the pollution in the system as far as possible. Okay? So now I will be with you for about 1 hour. I will be talking on the kind of work I have been doing in this sector, the pollution as well as the I will take, of course, you are all in Bangalore, so we will understand what is the situation in Bangalore and what needs to be done. My talk is outlined like this. I will talk about changes in climate, the pollution impact. Then I will take you to Western Ghats. I will discuss about why Western Ghats is important. Are there anyone from Western Ghats? Children? Shivamogga, Uttar Kannada, Chikmagalur. You should feel proud. Raise your hand. There are many. Okay. And then I will talk about Bangalore. This is my web page where all the details are available. wgbis.cs.iisc.ac.in. Okay. Now, let us learn from this. See, you want to be successful as an engineer. Learn from the nature. Mimic the nature. Develop the technology mimicking the nature. You will be highly successful in your career. So that means the learning comes from the nature. Okay. Now look at this first slide. This is a simple food chain. You all know food chain. No? You all know. The food is processed by the producer during photosynthesis, is taken by the next level consumer. But when you look at this carefully, there is an energy and material transfer happen from one level to the other. That's what you learn in the thermodynamics. What does the first law of thermodynamics talk about? Children, I am asking a question. First law of thermodynamics. The thermodynamic first principle. And when the transfer happens, there is a loss of energy and law of entropy. That is what we notice here. Every level there is about 10% loss happens. Okay? And then whatever is left in the system get converted into elemental form by the bacteria and fungi. The bacteria and fungi, they convert the organic fraction into the inorganic fraction or elemental form. So when you look at the nature, you will not see the waste. Do you agree with that? When you go to the forest, if there are no human beings, you do not see the waste there. Where do you see waste? I am asking a question. Where do you see waste? Environment is surrounding us. See, you will see waste where waste people are there. Who are these waste fellows? Who are the waste fellows? Grandfather is the waste, okay? Who are the waste fellows? See, I travelled from IISC to this place. I saw some of the wards where heaps of waste are dumped. They are all waste fellows. We should, as far as possible, should be organic and do not depend on synthetic material. Okay? Now, for example, you are organizing the pollution control day. First thing I would have enjoyed is not having plastic in the room. when I came, I see the plastic bottle sitting there with the water there. I have done the analysis of that water, which has a dioxin. That means it's a carcinogen, which means it introduces cancer. When we offer water in that bottle, we are giving cancer to our guests. Sir, you are from TVR, you understand what I am saying? When a person drinks water in that bottle, 1,000 bottles, no, he or she will get admitted in the oncology hospital. Now, what's the agenda of my science? I've been working, doing the research for the last 3 decades. My agenda is to provide clean air, water and environment to our children. That is the agenda. For that, you need to maintain the ecosystem integrity. Okay, those of you from civil engineering, environmental engineering will understand. To some extent, computer engineer also will understand. Okay, so that is what is sustainability means. That means ensuring clean air, water and environment for our next generation. Okay, so now let us see what is the changes in climate. Or let us try to understand how changes in climate is happening and why it happens. Okay, so now see the temperature. When you look at the historical data of temperature, you will see temperature is increasing. Do not make a statement of last 1 year or 2 years and say that climate is changing. Look at the pattern for a longer period, and if it is consistently changing, that means there are changes happening. See, if your parents are scolding you, today they have scolded you, don't brand them as a bad parent. Look at the last, this or 21 years or 20 years, how they have treated you. And then based on that you judge whether they are bad or good. That means long-term historical data one has to look at before we come to the conclusion. Now, the temperature is increasing. Now, why we have to take it seriously? That is because, the sea level is increasing. The people from coastal area will understand this, and there are disasters. Cloud burst in Uttarakhand led to the killing of the few people. Like that, everywhere it is happening. Flooding. Why not? Entire village was washed away because of the high intensity rainfall, which means there are changes is happening in the system. Okay. Now, as my friend said, let us look at the glacier melting. See, earlier the glacier cover is this much, that orange color. Today is this much. You might ask, so what? When the sun energy falls on the glacier, okay, the energy gets reflected. Now, because this region there is no glacier, there is an absorption of energy. Because of that, warming of the water happens. With the warming of the water, you will see further melting of the glacier. So that leads to the further degradation of the glacier, and we are losing more and more glacier. That is where the problem starts. Okay, so then the impact, because of that we have the flooding, landslides, mudslides, and all those associated stresses are there. Okay, now let us try to understand this. See, it was about 70% at 1.5 degrees Celsius increase in temperature. Now let us increase another 0.5 degrees Celsius. You see how much more it gets increased. You see about 99% of the coral we will lose. Okay. Then the other thing, you look at the plants. The variety of plant what we are going to lose is about 8 with 1.5 degree, or 6 insects and 4 vertebrates. Okay. Now further increase in 0.5 will see, look at the way we lose. We lose 18 insects as against 6. Okay, 16 plants as against 8, and 8 vertebrate as against the 4. See, this is just by 0.5 degree Celsius increase in temperature. Now look at the drought. When you look at with 1.5 degrees Celsius, 350 million the people get affected. Now if I increase by another 0.5, it goes up to 410. Just 0.5 degrees Celsius. Okay. Then look at the sea level rise. With 1.5 degree, it is about 48 centimeter. Now if I increase by another 0.5, you will see 56 centimeters, and number of people that get affected also get increased. That's where we have to take the changes in climate seriously. Now, if this continues by not the next year only, we will have a serious problem. Water stress across the country, I will not give you the number because at this age, it's too difficult to store the numbers because everything we put it in computer and mobile, we don't store anything in our brain. Okay? And the crop revenue would fall by 60% by 2100. That means yield of the crop will come down. That is going to be serious. When there is no yield of crop, you will not get food. Okay? Then, to summarize what I said, the sea level will increase, glacier will melt, and there will be a flooding, the drought, and crop yield will come down. This is the implication of changes in climate. Now, that will threaten the food security, the water, and cities become vulnerable, and coastal lines will become more vulnerable. So now, how do you mitigate this? And what is the benefit of mitigating? Reducing the changes in climate. You will have water security. Because of water security, farmers can grow crop. You have food security. When you have water, clean water, you also will have health. And there is a resource available to everybody. And then the system also become resilient to climate. There is a small perturbation, it will be able to handle it. And for that to happen, people have to be environmentally literate. What is environmentally literate people means? People having the knowledge of environment, they are environmentally literate. Who are these people? Do you know what is the environmental literacy in Bangalore? Can you guess? Now, I will talk about how to mitigate. Okay? You all know we have only one earth. Do we have more than one? We have only one earth. Now let us look at the variety of plants and animals that are there on the earth. As per our scripture, it talks about 8 to 12 million species. Okay? But in science we have predicted about 1.5 million species, and out of 1.5 million species we know the medicinal properties of about 10 or 12%. That means still lot more to be done. That is where we need more and more youngsters to the science to find out what is the biochemical composition of the plant and animals. When you have varieties of plants and animals, you have variety of food. When you take variety of food, your body gets the medicine or the immunity. That is the benefit of having the diversity of plant and animal on the earth. Is it clear to all of you? Now, let us see which part of the earth is rich in the diversity of plants and animals. Okay? Now, when we go latitudinally, you all know latitude, longitude, x and y coordinate. You will see that at 8 to 14 degree latitude, we have the highest number of plants and animal varieties. Highest number of plants and animals at 8 to 14 degree latitude, which corresponds to Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu part of the Western Ghats. That means, some of the children who are from Western Ghats, we have inherited that rich diversity of plants and animals. It's our responsibility to protect and give it to the next generation so that they will continue to get the medicine and they continue to get the food. That is where you need to conserve the ecosystem there. Now, how do you do that? Before that, what is this variety of plants and animals? Let us try to understand. See, in one taluk in Uttar Kannada, I have 54 varieties of rice. One is good for fragrance, another one good for yield. Okay, like that. If I hybridize it, I get a better product. One is pest resistant, like that. That's where the science is required. And you see that brinjal, in one village in Uttar Kannada, I have 16 varieties of brinjal. Badnekai, what we say, in one village in Uttar Kannada near Kumta, we have that. Okay? So, now, if you have to protect that region, you need to manage that. How do you manage with the data? That is where computer science students are required. We learned the satellites way back in 70s. Every the 21 or 30 days, we get a picture of the Earth. When you have a picture of yourself 10 years back and today, what is the use of that picture? I'm asking a question. Huh? Children, what is the use of that picture? You have your photograph of 10 years back and your photograph of today. What is the use of that?
Comparison.
Hmm?
Comparison.
Comparison means what do you do? Okay, you kept and you compared. Then you will know the changes. Okay. Now, similarly, instead of taking photograph like that, I put a camera on the satellite or aeroplane. Satellite keep revolving the Earth. When it comes to Bangalore, it will take a picture of Bangalore. When it moves in Western Ghat, it take a picture of the thing. And every 21 or 30 days, we get that picture. From 70s to today, you have the picture of the Earth. Now, once you have picture of the Earth, as you said, you can make out changes that is happening in the system. That's what we use that is to use that. You need the data analyst. Okay? So now, see, this is the kind of data what we use, and we also use artificial intelligence and machine learning to do that. Okay? Now earlier, to handle the one district, we used to take about 8 to 10 months. But today, because of AI and ML, our job has become faster. Now my students have done the analysis of entire Western Ghat, for 4 decades in about 6 months' time. Don't you see that we have improved the technology? That is the thing. And when we analyze, you see the green is reducing. That means forests are degrading. And not only green is reducing, green is also showing fragmented. Forests are also getting fragmented. Within the forest, you will see some fellow sitting there doing ginger cultivation or sugarcane cultivation. These are the kinds of rubber plantation. Go to Shivamogga. Are there anyone from Shivamogga? Okay, Shivamogga, you will see the rubber plantation. And some part, of course, you have the maize, etc. Okay, now because I have the data for the last 4 or 5 decades, I can also predict what is likely to happen the tomorrow. 10 years down the line. We have done that prediction, which shows there is a further degradation of the forest. Okay, and consequence of that, you see there are changes in climate. Temperature is increasing. Kerala will become warmer. Okay, by 1.5 degrees Celsius. When the temperature increases, the vector-borne diseases will increase. Those like mosquitoes and all those things will thrive in the system. And second thing is that the rainfall pattern will change. The Kerala now receives highest rainfall, will start getting low rainfall. And the third thing which is going to happen is the rainfall, which is supposed to spread across 4 to 6 months, will start having in a shorter duration. That is called high intensity rainfall. See, suppose if you have 30 millimeter rainfall in a day, the Bangalore will flood. Or 90 millimeter when we had last year, you saw the Bangalore flooding. That is the problem we are going to face very often. Now how the ecosystem help in the bringing down the changes in climate? What are the pollutants that are there in the atmosphere? Someone has to remove. We have, when you use vehicle, you emit carbon. When you generate electricity, you emit carbon. Now carbon concentration is increasing, or greenhouse gases is increasing in the atmosphere. When greenhouse gas concentration increases in the atmosphere, naturally the earth becomes warmer because they form a thick layer. And whatever the sunlight falls there, that does not get escaped. Because of that, earth becomes warmer. And when earth becomes warmer, what is the consequence? The changes in climate. That means you will have rain when you don't want, and when you want rain, it won't be there. So that is the changes in climate that we see. Now let us see how much the carbon the forests in the Western Ghats are removing. You all know photosynthesis, no? What happens in photosynthesis? Some youngsters have to help me out. What happens during photosynthesis? I'm asking a second standard question.
The plants and it produces food.
And it gives you
Food.
food only.
Food and oxygen as well.
So why oxygen is required?
For us breathing.
Breathe, no? So now let us see how much carbon is taken by that is the hope. At least one fellow is answering. I am very happy. Which semester you are in? Put in the plant. We have measured that. By measuring the girth and height of a tree, we can find out how much biomass in a tree. And for example, if I want to find out how much carbon in your body, I will weigh your thing and say 50% of that is carbon. Similarly for the plant, I will find out what is the biomass, 50% of that is the carbon. Like that I have computed what is the above ground biomass, what is below ground biomass, the root, etc. and what is the carbon in soil, and it gives the total carbon. Now let us see how much carbon is stored in the forest in Western Ghats. It's about 1.3 million gigagram, and every year about 37,000 gigagram of carbon gets sequestered. Every year the carbon removed by the forest in Western Ghats is about 37,000 gigagram, which is equivalent to the emission that happens in Trivandrum, Cochin, in Kerala. There are Bangalore, this one. So that means nature knows how to balance. That's where we need to protect the ecosystem to maintain the balance. Today we are talking about pollution control. This is the best way to control the pollution, that is the carbon emission in the system. Okay. Now this also amounts to about 100 billion rupees or $1.4 billion. That is, you might ask, what is the use of this number? When I go to abroad, representing a country, I tell the other country fellows, the carbon that is emitted by you fellows, because your countries were industrialized, my forests have taken the carbon. That they have provided a survey which is amount to 100 billion rupees. That is the amount they have to pay to my country. That is the thing. And that's how we get the money. And that is the money used for conservation. Okay. Now you know how data analysis helps in putting forward your arguments. Okay. Then we also identify a region which has to be conserved. See, look at how much each discipline in engineering is required when you have to do this kind of job. To identify which are ecologically sensitive, we collected various data. Climate, the ecology, the flora, fauna, then the carbon, like that. All the data we integrated. We divided entire Western Ghats into 5 minutes by 5 minutes grid. Each grid we calculated. And whichever grid has higher value, we said they are ecologically sensitive. Now red are the one which are ecologically sensitive one. Can you close the door? That is the next and 3. Then the 4 is the least this one. Now you know that which part of Western Ghats is ecologically sensitive. Now those of you, and also the villages, you see we overlaid the village boundary, you know that which are the villages which are ecologically sensitive. Now if you want this detail, we have put it online, we developed the decision support system. Now you see I started my lecture with a simple biology, but now I have brought you to the domain of computer science. Today you all are there from the diverse background. You do not know tomorrow what application you have to develop, what knowledge is required. That is where as an engineering graduate student, you should keep your brain equipped with this kind of knowledge so that tomorrow you can deliver this kind of goods. Okay. Now if you want, at the end, if the net is there, I will demonstrate there. You can visualize which village is ecologically sensitive. I had talked about this in 2018-19. I had written in my article also that there will be a landslide in Kerala and Karnataka. Government didn't take it forward, and none of our fellows read my article. Then 2019 there was a flooding, and because of flooding in Kodagu, we had a death. Similarly in Wayanad it was there. And last year again the same problem happened in Wayanad. Entire village is washed out because of changes in climate. And that we had predicted as a scientist. That is what you can visualize. Now if you go, you can select the state, You can select the district and you can select the village. You will see what is the ecologically sensitive region. That is the vulnerable region which we have told the government how to protect that. Okay. Now, with that, let me bring you to the Bangalore. The lakes of Bangalore. I have been working on lakes of Bangalore. You all know lakes, no? In a Pradesh. What will happen? Why we need to worry about Jalanayana Pradesh? The water from the surrounding area comes to the lake or a river. From where all it comes, that region is called watershed or a Jalanayana Pradesh or a catchment or a basin. Okay, Americans call it as a basin, we call it as a watershed. Now, how much vegetation cover is in the catchment that decides the water in the water body. Let us see how it happens. I will take you to a river. See, this is a river basin where I used to see a water when I was a student. Okay, but today the same month I do not have water. Now what could be the reason? What could be the reason? See, you see water, here you do not see water. What could be the reason? This is Sharavati river basin. We constructed a dam at Linganmakki way back in 65. Okay, and then with the 65, after constructing the dam, you see that what happened? The entire region had a forest cover like this. You know that catchment area had a forest like this. Now today, one part continues to have forest like this, while the other part looks like this. The deforestation has happened. Now, whether it has changed the rainfall in the region, let us look at. To do that, you have 124 years of rainfall data. Just download that data, divide it into two time periods, 1901 to 1965 and 1965 to today. You know why 1965? Because we constructed a dam or commissioned the dam in 1965. Now you will be surprised to see 1901 to 1965, this entire region was receiving the rainfall of 3000 to 4500. Now today, if you look at, this region continues to get the rainfall of 3000 to 4500, while this region started getting the rainfall of the 1700 to 1900. If you look at the vegetation cover, where our vegetation is there, rainfall continues to be the same. Where all forests are degraded, you see the rainfall has degraded. See why rainfall plays a role? You all know water cycle or hydrological cycle, no?
From the land and from the oceans evaporate and then become clouds, and there we have condensation and again rainfall occurs. So based on the places where there is rainfall, they can become streams or they can get into groundwater. So this happens more differently.
For that we did an experiment. You know, for 3 years on monthly basis we monitored how much water get infiltrated when it rains. You know, ನೀರು ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಿಂಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. See, we selected various watersheds, one dominated by forest cover, another one with the monoculture plantation, the third one with the buildings like that. And we put a sensors, we monitored every month how much water get infiltrated. Our study shows wherever forests are there of native species, about 65% of rainfall get infiltrated. ಅಷ್ಟು ನೀರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೀರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ. Wherever the monoculture plantation is there, it's about 28 to 32% of rainfall get infiltrated. Okay? And wherever the degradations happen, not much infiltration happens. Now you might ask, what is the benefit of this? See, during monsoon you have water in the this one because of the rain. Now after monsoon, the water that is stored here comes to the river or lake for the 4 months. During summer, the water stored here in the saturated zone comes to the river or lake for the next 4 months. That is where you have the water for 12 months when you have the vegetation cover like this. When you convert that into the urban area, not much infiltration happens. That's where you have the groundwater scarcity in the region. Now, to summarize what I said, we graded the water bodies as A, B, C, D. A are the one which carry water for 12 months, B are for 8 months, C for 6 months and D for 4 months. Now you look at the watershed area. You see, when it is dominated by forest cover of native species more than 60%, you have 12 months water in the water body. When you have monoculture plantation, rubber, acacia, eucalyptus, you have 6 to 8 months. When you degrade the catchment with a forest cover less than 30%, you have water only during the monsoon. Now to summarize, you see this is the region I have 12 months water. Green are 8 months, yellow is 6 months, blue is 4 months. Okay? Now you just overlay the forest cover. You see wherever forests are there of native species, I have 12 months water. Wherever forest is fragmented, depending on scale of fragmentation with the intrusion of rubber plantation, etc., I have 8 to 6 months. Where forest is degraded with forest are less than 30%, I have only water during the monsoon. You might see how it affects the livelihood of the people. Some of you might have come from the rural area. Your parents may be the agriculturists. Okay? Now you see that the farmers in this region, because the water is available 12 months, they can grow multiple crop or a cash crop. Their earning is 1,54,000 rupees per acre per year. Whereas in this region where water is available for 4 to 6 months, they can grow only one crop. Their earning is 32,000 rupees per acre per year. Okay? Now more importantly, wherever forests are there, pollinators are abundant. Pollinators like, the insects like butterflies, honeybees, etc. They are abundant. When pollinators are abundant, pollination becomes efficient. You all know pollination? Paragasparsha kriya. So when pollination becomes efficient, yield of the crop is higher. See, for example, whose mobile is ringing? The pollination, see, because of the good forest cover, the pollinators are abundant. Here the yield of the crop is about the 14 to 18 quintal per acre. Whereas in this region, because of the not many pollinators, yield of the crop is 6 to 8 quintal per acre. Now if you want to increase the income of the farmer, what should you do? Just maintain the forest in the region. They get pollinators, they get a higher yield. We don't have to do anything else. This is what the science can tell the people. This is where to do that data analysis has to be done. That is where computer science and other engineering fellows have to be required. See, let us see where all the animals there. Our study shows this, all the dots show the sloth bear, tiger, etc. They all are there where water is there, 12 months. Where water is not there, which animal is there? See, in this region, only two-legged animals are there. Two-legged animal? Who is that? Huh? Two-legged animals. Humans, okay. See, that is what the humans create the problem, and that is where they are. Now, with the changes in climate, one thing is going to happen is we will not have water on the earth. Okay? Now, in such a situation, no humans can survive. Okay? What about other organisms? Let us try to understand through frogs. We call frogs as amphibians. Why do we call them as amphibians? Not in the juvenile stage, where the tadpole stage, there is a tadpole stage which requires water. Next stage is other stage which is on the land. Because of the requirement of two diverse habitat, the frogs are known as amphibians. Now if there is no water, what will happen to tadpole? It cannot survive. In such a situation, in a dry area, we come across a frog. After fertilization, there is no tadpole stage. We saw the younger ones coming out. When my student reported, I said, bring that the fertilized egg to my lab in Bangalore. When he brought to lab, then I noticed that on 14th day, younger ones were emerging. That means animals have learned how to get adapted to a situation where there is no water. But you can, whatever your intelligence, without water, no humans can survive on the earth. That is where you should learn how to protect the mother earth. Okay? So now, understanding that importance, our elders identified patch of forest, they called it as Devarakadu, or a sacred forest, or Bana. See, if you go to Dakshin Kannada, you see Nagan Bana. Similarly, you will see the similar thing. They knew that when that forest is there, they have water in their well or in their kere. So because of that, they wanted to protect the forest, and they said that, okay, if they assign some god, then people will protect, next generation will protect. So that's how the sacred row came into the thing. See, to summarize what I said so far, when Mother Earth is covered with a green saree of native species, she retains the water for 12 months, and you all have water for 12 months. when we convert that saree into the synthetic saree of rubber, acacia, eucalyptus, ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಪ್ಪ ಅದೇನು ಆವಾಗ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಸಿಂಥೆಟಿಕ್ ಸ್ಯಾರಿ she retains the water for 6 to 8 months. When we degrade the catchment less than 30% forest cover, we will have water only during the monsoon. If you understand my red shirt fellow, the simplest solution is learn to respect mother at home. When you respect mother at home, no, you will also learn to protect mother earth. Okay, those who do not do that, they have become irresponsible. That's where we see the problem. Okay, how many of you hugged your mother? Hugged your mother? How many of you? See, when you are stressed, yeah, please, yeah, that's a good number. When you are stressed, you go and just hug your mother. You see that you get a relief. If mother is not at home, you are in hostel, just hug a tree. Okay, suppose if it is raining, you cannot hug a tree, just hug mother earth. Just lie down on the floor for a while, you get the relief. You know, that's how you have to get the relief. You know, not getting to the mobile, use all useless things in the night and in the classroom, open the mouth to say, I have used the mobile. Let us try to understand the next concept, sustainability. Okay, you all know sustainability. What is sustainability means? Sustainable development.
Long-term
Development. Water, you get food, etc. You should not hamper that. You know, that is what I learned from this lady. You know, when I go to villages, I interact with them. You know, this lady, you know, she collects a bucket full of bivalves. Bivalves are the organism which has a, you know, chip iruttalla, that, you know, it has a shell outside and the meat is used by the people. She tells me when she sells that in the market, she earns 350 rupees per bucket of bivalves. She says that that's enough for her to run her family. That's why she doesn't collect the second bucket. You know, that is the, when I asked her why you do not collect, she said when I am earning 350, that's sufficient to run my family. Why should I collect the second bucket? And then she also added, I have kept my second bucket for my children. That is the sustainability. You know, you should not over harvest the thing. See, like you over harvested. We take you to the next part, to the Bangalore. Now, what is the problem of Bangalore? How the science can help? Okay, let us see what is the Bangalore. Now, currently it's about 740 square kilometer. Way back in 1800, when Kempegowda was there, how many water bodies were there in Bangalore? 1452. We had 80% green cover. And today, Kempegowda is not there, Devegowda is there. How many water bodies are there? 193. Okay, what is the green cover? Less than 3%. Now, what is the use of this water body and vegetation? At that time, 1800, in the May month, the temperature in the city was 14 to 16 degrees Celsius. Today, what is the temperature in Bangalore during summer? At least these are answered. 34 to 38. See, that's the change that has happened. This shows how humans are aggravating the problem. Okay? Now, when you look at the lakes in Bangalore, generate a 3D of Bangalore, the topography. You know, civil engineers know how to generate 3D, no? You will see there are 3 watersheds are there. One is Hebbal Nagavara, the other one is KC Valley, the third one is the Rushvabadi, the 3 watersheds. And when you see that, you will see the, you know, interconnected lake. See, earlier river was passing. Our elders put the bunds at regular interval. That's how we converted the river into the lake in the Bangalore. And we had about 1452 water bodies. Today, we have 193. Now, what has happened? Let us try to understand this one. Before that, let us try to understand what is the use of lake. You know, you get fish, you get fodder, you get water. How much you get it? See, wherever lakes are there, you know, people were getting the groundwater at 80 to 100 feet. And when the lake was removed in 6 years, groundwater table went down to 600 feet. Today, you know, 22 years have passed. At Nagashettihalli, people have gone down to 1800 feet. There is no groundwater. Now you know, if you want groundwater, what you should do. So that is this one. And if you improve the lake, rejuvenate the lake, will the situation improve? For example, Sarki Lake was rejuvenated recently. I was a member of the committee. Within a year of rejuvenation, that means we removed the desilting and all, within a year of that, we saw the groundwater in that region went up by 320 feet. That much water recharge has happened. Not only that, this summer when entire city was facing water crisis and higher temperature, Saraki Lake had enough water in the lake. Surrounding area, there was groundwater table was less than 500 feet. And because of high moisture content in the Saraki Lake, the temperature was at least 2 degrees lower than the surrounding. See, we have a model already in Saraki Lake. That is the model to be replicated in all the wards in Bangalore. We have 198 wards. Today we have 193 lake. Almost 1 lake per ward is there. That has to be done. Okay? That's how we can solve the problem. Okay? Now, let us see. If the lake is polluted, what will happen? If the lake is not polluted, what is the one? If lake is not polluted, we get fish, we get water, etc. to an extent of 10,500 rupees per day per hectare. When the lake is polluted, the work comes down to 20 rupees per day per hectare. See, if you pollute, you don't get a food. That's what it means. Okay? So now, what is the threat? See how Bangalore has changed. 68% green cover in 1970s, before your birth, when we were children. Bangalore was green, 68%. Today, 86% is red with the buildings. Earlier buildings were only the core area. At Pet and this one, Majestic area. Then 92, with industries coming up in Pune and Koramangala, we saw changes happening. Then 99, 2000, you see with IT, BT sector, the changes happening in the outskirts. Then further intensification started. Now, today, if you look at, there is about that 86% red. That means everywhere the building. And if you look at about 1055% increase in the concrete area over the last 5 decades. And we have lost about 88% vegetation and 79% water body. And we have reached a situation like this. People use oxygen cylinder in the night. So you may not be using because you are all young. But after 40, you may require oxygen. Along with your water bottle, you may have to carry oxygen bottle also. That is the situation we are reaching. Okay? So now, see, this is how the Bangalore has changed. Not only you, entire Bangalore has become like red. So see that 8% red has become 86%. Entire region is concretized. Okay? Now, we develop the decision support system. You can see how Bangalore is changing. This is available to the public. It is called Bangalore Urban Information System. Open how many trees are there in Bangalore? Let us see. Again using the remote sensing data, we did that. We did a mapping of our campus. My campus, IISC campus, 400 acres. Using GPS. In your mobile, you have GPS. No, you can find out where you are with the GPS. Now you know that what tree is there at which location. We link that with the satellite data picture. So like this, we did a couple of watts. And using the picture for the entire Bangalore, we extrapolated. Our study showed in Bangalore, 14,78,000 trees are there and population is about 95 lakh. That means for every 7 person, 1 tree is there. How many trees are required per person? 4. Slider and mistake. Person, 1 tree. Nothing new I am telling you. You just read Bible. At least 320 times there is a mention about why nature has to be conserved. Okay? Look at Quran. Quran talks of imminent war if you pollute water. That's why to bring awareness, they have the, dargah. You have to wash your feet and finger with a clean water before you enter dargah. That's why in dargah there will be well. Like Kadapa, you go to Ajmer. In those dargah there are wells. You have to clean your feet and finger, then only you can enter. They thought that when you practice at dargah, you will also practice at home and in the community. Similarly, in our scriptures, Masya Purana brings out the linkage between the water body, children and trees. See, if you have well at home, you are wealthy. 10 wells are equal to 1 lake, 10 lakes are equal to 1 sarovar, 10 sarovar is equal to 1 child, 10 children are equal to 1 tree. Benefit of having 10 children, one can have the same benefit by planting and nurturing a tree. Now I'll put it other way. When people cut a tree, they are murdering their own 10 children. See, this is what our scriptures told us. That's how I write. You might ask, what is the use of your writing? Once what happened, one of the forest officer came to my office. When officers come to my office, I always ask them to settle down for a while, because I know that they are coming in a polluted environment, and that to the way I write, they are agitated. I saw tears in his eyes. I asked him, sir, what happened? Why are you crying? He said, I am crying because of you. Then I said, sir, tell me why you are crying because of me. He said, you have written an article. I said, see, I write an article, but not against the individual, but against the system. So you are mistaken, I said. Then he said that you have written that when we cut a tree, we are murdering 10 children. Now I have to remove 179 trees because Jaimal Road extension, the road widening is happening. If I remove that 179 trees, tomorrow you will write an article saying that I have killed 1790 children. If I don't remove that, I will lose the job. I want a solution. I said, nearby there is a vacant land. Why don't you think of planting these things? At least 2-year-old sapling. And at least the planting, and also do the transplantation. When he started doing, Bangaloreans appreciated. Look at the number of lakes in 73. We had 756 lakes were there. And today, we have 216 lakes. We have lost about 540 lakes. That is a 79% loss of lakes in Bangalore after the independence. Forget about Kempegoda period. Kempegoda period 1452. Today we have 260. Out of that 193 lakes we have. Okay. So now let us look at the pollution in the air. Which are the cities contribute more to the pollution? When you use vehicle, you have polluted. When you burn the electricity, you have pollution. Okay. When you cook, there is pollution. Okay. Now we did the quantification. Which city is polluting from which sector? Our study shows wherever public transport is weak, for example, Hyderabad, polluted from transportation sector is 54%. And in Bangalore, it is 46%. That because of poor the public transport. Now, to control the pollution, what you have to do? That is what we are talking today, pollution control day. You have to improve the public transport so that you can bring down the pollution, at least in the transportation sector. That is what has to be done. Then the next thing you can do is this. This architecture is meant for a European climate or a cold climate. Our fellows copied that architecture, pasted in Bangalore environment, Hyderabad, Chennai. Ours is a tropical environment. In a cold environment, you have to retain the heat to get the thermal comfort. But here, ours is a tropical climate, you should not retain the heat. Now the building has become warmer. With the building becoming warmer, our electricity consumption has gone up. Our study shows in the normal building, if the electricity consumption is 700 to 1200 units per person per year, in the glass facade building, it is 40,000 to 70,000 units per person per year. Units means kilowatt. Okay? So that means almost 10 times higher electricity consumption because of irresponsible copy paste. You are saying it is good. Look at the thing. You saw the degradation happening. What is the consequence of it? Temperature in the region which was 21 degree in 1900 became 24 in 2000 or 28 in 2010 and today 38 degrees. And you see when you go from the center of the city, wherever you see vegetation or the water body, you see temperature is 2 degrees lower. That means the vegetation, the park and the water bodies mitigate the temperature or moderate the microclimate. Okay? So now when we remove the lake, we have the flooding happening in the region. Okay? And now which are the place, which is the thing, wherever people have removed the lake, we see the flooding happening there. My solution to mitigate the flood in the city of Bangalore is just re-establish the connectivity among the lake. Automatically water will flow. That's what has to happen. Okay? So now, how we are managing the lake? See, we dump solid waste in the lake. We enclose the lake, construct lake view apartments, and we discharge the sewage into the lake. And those who are away, send it through the tankers. Once when I went to the one of the lake, I saw a driver wearing the red color shirt, dumping the discharging. Correct? Pollute the lake. The lake is in clean state. When you pollute, you will see the profuse growth of macrophytes. Suppose you go to Mattikere lake, you see entire thing is covered with the macrophyte. When macrophyte covers, these are all kale, weed. Okay? What will happen? Sunlight will not penetrate. Since sunlight is not there, algae does not grow. Since algae is not there, you will not see the fish. That's how the worth of the lake comes down from 10,500 rupees per day per hectare to 20 rupees per day per hectare. Now another thing is the frothing and this shows that phosphorus is getting into the lake, untreated sewage, because of that phosphorus is getting in, and this shows hydrocarbon is getting into the lake with the fire. And what is the solution our fellows did? They put the barricade. They claim that they solved the problem of Bangalore frothing. I wrote an article saying that this is only a 4-day solution. As I predicted, the froth crossed over 5th day and we again had the problem. Now, we also told the government, what is the implication of this pollution? See, the fish grown in the lake is used by the people, and this water which is in the lake, which is contaminated with industrial effluent and domestic sewage, is being used for growing vegetables like pudina, spinach, radish, etc. We collected all those things, fish, these vegetables like pudina, etc. All of them had heavy metal. Heavy metal, as the engineering students, what is heavy metal? Chromium, okay, cadmium, these are all heavy metals, okay? Higher valency, all those things, okay? Now, that, when you get into the food, if people consume it, what will happen? There are health issues like cancer, kidney failure. Cancer, Bangalore is number 1 as far as cancer is concerned. Kidney failure, which is 1 in 1 lakh, about 12 years back, okay? Today is 1 in 5,000. And you see that every ward in Bangalore have the dialysis unit. That means entire Bangalore we have polluted with the polluted food, and because of that people are losing the kidney. You might ask, it has not affected my family, why are you telling me this? You come with me, you will see. In Vattur, one of the school, Ramanalli government school, I saw a boy losing the kidney. Then I thought, okay, government school has this problem, maybe if I go to private school, this problem may not be there. I went to KK English school. LKG, 2 children had lost the kidney. And in the same school, 8th standard, principal took me to all the classes. When we went to 8th standard, he said 2 girl childs have lost the kidney. 1 girl has lost both the kidney. After a year, when I visited that school, I asked the principal, I want to meet the girl who had lost both the kidney. I want to talk to her. Because there is a financial burden, etc. The principal said that girl is no more. See, the children are the asset of our nation. Youth are asset of our nation. We are losing the youth because of the pollution. If you people do not understand this, see, you cannot solve this problem. You should wake up today, not open your mouth, wake up and solve the problem of the pollution, okay? And you too, bending and talking, don't of the rejuvenation of Bangalore Lake. You see how science helps. See, what we did, these are our sampling location to find out what is the water quality, whether it is polluted, and what is the silt, whether the silt has contamination. This is Bangalore and Vattur Lake. When you talk about lake rejuvenation, first thing is you have to decontaminate the lake. That means whatever is stored there, you have to remove it. Second thing is you should not allow the contaminant coming to the lake. Now, to decontaminate the lake, you have to remove the silt. How much silt you have to remove? We did a bathymetric analysis. How many of you are civil engineers here? Civil students? Civil engineering students? We found that about 11 million cubic meters of silt is accumulated. Then, since we did the quality assessment, we knew that Vattur Lake silt didn't have any contaminant. I gave to farmers, in that locality, so that I don't have to ship the silt to the longer places. Believe it or not, within 4 months when I visited that place, each farmer had a bumper crop. The farmer had a crop of this kind. Each farmer tells me that he had the yield, the revenue of about 1.5 lakh rupees per hectare per year, per season. They grow this crop thrice. You can think about it, how many, 3 into 1.5 lakh per hectare they are getting the revenue. This is the profit they are getting. That is because of using the silt which is rich in nutrient but didn't have any contaminants. Okay? That's how you can also do the things change in the system. Okay? Now we have put all the lakes information what we have monitored, which is available to the people. It's called Bangalore Lake Information System. It gives the water quality, it gives the algae in the water body and also the fish in the water body. So that you can find out what is the water quality of the lake near your house. That is called BLITZ or Bangalore Lake Information System. Okay? Now how do you treat the wastewater? So we have used the nature-based solution. Way back in 2005, when I studied Jakkur Lake, surrounding there were 25 wells were there. All of them had nitrate. Nitrate is a carcinogen, which introduces cancer. Then what I did is I pushed the government to rejuvenate the lake. The lake was rejuvenated during 2008 to 10. I was a member of the committee. At the time, government gave a money which was not sufficient to have a tertiary treatment plant. The money is sufficient to have secondary treatment plant, but not tertiary treatment. Your wastewater has nutrients N and P, because we all eat protein. N gets in, Salajanaka. P gets in because we wash cloth with detergent. So phosphorus gets in, Ranjaka. Now, if I do not have tertiary treatment, I will not remove the nutrients. Then what I did is, we put the secondary treatment plant which remove the chemical ion and large particle. Then I use the nature-based solution. That outlet of the thing is passed through the constructed wetland and algal pond, which removes the nutrient. Now we monitored this lake for the last 10 years. The report is available online. There are 300 wells surrounding the lake. None of them have nitrate today. That means at least I am giving a clean water to those 300 well users. Can you imagine? So this is our contribution to the people in that area. Don't you feel satisfied with it? This is what every education institution can do it. You should not look at 9 to 5 o'clock the syndrome. You should go beyond that. As a faculty in engineering colleges, you need to take up this kind of responsibilities and solve the problem of the nation. Okay? So now, let me come to the concluding part. What else can be done? If you look at Bangalore water situation, we get 700 to 850 millimeter rainfall, we have 15 TMC of water. Bangalore requires 18 TMC of water. If I harvest the rainwater, I have solved the problem of Bangalore by 70%. 15 TMC as against 18 TMC. Now, what is the best way to do the rainwater harvesting? One is rooftop harvesting. You will have 4 to 5 months additional water. Next best option is through the lake. You rejuvenate the lake so that I can retain the rainwater. Then the second thing is, if I am using 18 TMC of water, I am also generating 18 TMC of wastewater. If I treat that wastewater similar to Jakkur model, like this, through the construct of an algal pond, I get 16 TMC of treated wastewater. 15 TMC because of rainwater harvesting, 16 TMC because of the wastewater treatment through the nature-based solution. So I have 31 TMC in a place where 18 TMC is required. This is a wonderful model, sustainable model. You have enough water in the system, isn't it? Now, for this to happen, I have 5R formula. First R is a responsible citizen. When people are irresponsible, bring them and put them, give them a responsibility. Then they become responsible. When they become responsible, they will, when I rejuvenate lake, they will not allow the pollution to happen. They will also allow the wastewater treatment. Otherwise, they will sit and send in a social media, why TVR is asking for us to drink wastewater, treated wastewater. I always tell them a simple question. You come with me. When I travel from Mysore to Bangalore, along the Kaveri line, Mysorean sewage is coming to the Kaveri river. You are drinking that water. That means you are drinking Mysorean sewage. Instead of drinking Mysorean sewage, if you treat your own sewage and drink it, that would be more tasty. Did you understand? That's how the thing can be brought in. Okay, that is where the 5R formula. Why responsible citizens are required. Take the water bodies and create the mini forest and bring awareness in the people. Okay. So now, see the water body in my campus I have created. I have otter also. And this is the diversity of plants in that region. Not only that, wherever I meet, I make sure they create water body. This is what happened in Jain, the mud in Mudbitri. Not only that, that saint also did the rejuvenation of 2 lakes in that Mudbitri when there was a water crisis in the region. Because of him doing 2 lakes rejuvenation, the local people did 30 lakes as per my advice. Last year when there was a scanty rain in South Canara, Mudbitri didn't face the water crisis because of this lake rejuvenation. Okay, I saw the success because of the youth from Alva's Science and Engineering College student. And Alva C is also quite young. So I gave a medicine to him to create a water body of 25 lakh liters in his campus. When I visited that campus, he took up the greening with the native species. And when I visited next year, I see the greenery with enough water. Don't you see the solution for the water crisis in our country with this? Okay, then let us, how God's problem is solved. Okay, I'll take another 3 or 4 minutes and wind up. Okay, Gokarna you all know. There is a Lord Shiva's temple. In that temple there is a pond. The pond was smelling, because of the hydrogen sulfide generation of thing. Then local fellows wrote to me, like our red shirt fellow, he was wearing blue shirt. He wrote to me. So when my student, when we visited, we saw that, that is, the lake is getting contaminated because of the rituals. People perform rituals and they do the visurgena of rice balls and banana etc. in the water body. When that organic matter decays, naturally the smell is there. Now, to solve that problem, I should not allow the ritual material, rice balls etc. dispose there. But that's a sensitive issue. What I did is, I converted that into economic model. What I did is, I had a meeting with the priest. I said that I will identify 2 locations. One I will call it Vaikunta, other one is Kailasa. Those who want to dispose at Vaikunta, they have to pay 25 rupees. While those who want to use Kailasa, they have to pay 50 rupees. In the process, on average about 150 to 200 people, family does the ritual. We have a revenue of about 20 to 22,000 rupees a month. That money is given to NGO. The job of the NGO is they have hired 3 youths. The youth does the de-weeding of the lake, and whatever the rice ball we put in this location, they take it out and give it to cattle in the Goshala. To goes in the Goshala. Okay? Now because there, and also I introduce the fish which eats the rice. If there are any remnants of rice, that is eaten. When you go to Sringeri, you will see the fish, the rice eating fish there. Not the same matches are introduced there. Now for the last 5 years, the lake which was like this, before a scientist visited the lake, looks like this. The God was taking a bath of that contaminated water. Abhishekam was happening with that. Now God is getting the bath of a clean water. When God gets a clean water bath, what will happen? There has to be prosperity in the place. Look at my career profile last 5 years. You will see the lot of thing has happened because of this kind of experiment. In fact, government of Karnataka even recognized our experiment. They gave a Kannada Rajyotsava award in the last November 1st. Okay, that is. Another 1 minute. If you don't come to my campus, in front of my department, you will see this climber. That is a Western Ghat climber. I felt I should have it in my campus. That Bangalore, that is my campus. I brought that seed. 14 seeds were there in that pot. Out of 14 seeds, 7 seeds I kept in my lab. Another 7 I planted in 7 locations. Believe it or not, out of 7 locations, only 1 place it has survived. Where it has survived? Next to the building where I have been working for the last 2.5 decades. That means even the plants know who will take care. Other 6 places didn't survive. Okay? Then in front of the building we created a mini forest. In a 2 hectares area, 49 native species, 500 saplings were planted when I was a student. Slightly elder to your age. And today when you come there, you get a feel of the rainforest like that. Not only that, you will see a lot of your friends, snakes, butterfly, bird, slender lorries, cardot papa, all those things you will see. And groundwater which was 150 feet when the region had a Parthenium, before I created mini forest, the groundwater table was 150 feet. Today I have water at 10 to 15 feet. That shows the linkage between water and vegetation. And temperature is another 2 degree lower. See, these are the experiments to demonstrate how we can solve the problem of the nation or the region or the state. Okay? So then, this is what we communicate to the wider section of society. I go to a lot of schools, share this with the children. That's where my red shirt fellow and check shirt fellow, all those fellows are required to be a brand ambassador to convey the message. I brought them from the last bench to the front. That is because tomorrow they will be my ambassador. They will start communicating to the people who are in the last bench how to conserve the day. And I've been offering a course on environmental management. These are for the faculty from institutions, industries and all. For the last 22 years I have offered 22 sessions. Now currently that session is in progress. Okay? And I organize a symposium popularly known as Lake Symposium. The audience is about 800 to 1000. Out of that, at least 20% are the school and college students. They do a simple experiment. They come, they do the water quality monitoring, lake monitoring, or the carbon sequestration in trees. They go to field, collect the data, analyze, and they come to our symposium and they do the presentation along with the international experts, etc. When the children listen to the talk for a 3 day from the expert, they get knowledge. And when they do the presentation the last day, their confidence level goes up. That's how I have given the students who are students like they. Today they are faculty at IIT, IIIT, etc. Okay? So you do not know what this red shirt fellow will be. Today I said that you are a useless fellow because sitting in the last row. Tomorrow he might take this message seriously, might change himself. So may not sit in the last row itself. Correct, no? No, you are sitting in the mid. Okay. Those of you who want to reach me, I do not use mobile. You can write to me at this. And this is my web page where all the details are available. You can access this web page. And when you access, you will see all our publications are there. And those of you interested in my talk, both in Kannada and English, it's available in YouTube. You give a Google search, YouTube, TVRAMACHANDRA, you will get our channel. You can listen to my talks also. And these are give the glimpse of the labs which I have created in various institutions in Karnataka. Okay? And my agenda is to sow the seeds of knowledge in this young way. They will become successful. When they become successful, they will be the asset to the nation and they do a wonderful job. When they do a wonderful job, there is a smile on everybody's face. There is no pollution on everything. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, I will answer.